To another episode of Bones and Tubs. In this third week of April, we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. It should be a good week. We got a shitload of topics from a couple new people, and should be a good time. So hopefully this show goes well. But first, we got breaking news. So, the bar of humanity has somehow been lowered again. This happened a few days ago before the show, but it had to be done on the show. And well, you might ask yourself, how is the bar of humanity lowered any further than it already has?
Is that possible?
Did we think it was possible for our bar to go any lower? And it was, because I was surfing the net the other day. Yes, I use the term surfing the net.
On the interwebs.
On the interwebbings. And I found an article about how a furry convention in Colorado had been canceled. And I saw the reason why the furry convention had been canceled is because there is now a branch off of the furries, and they're calling themselves the alt fur.
Oh my god.
And they're neo-Nazi furries.
Yes.
You can look this shit up. Their leader is a wolf furry who wears a uniform, and his uniform has a very strange armband that looks just like a Nazi armband, except instead of a swastika, it has a wolf paw on it. Now, this group, of course, is claiming, just like the alt-right does, that they're not, in fact, Nazis or fascists. So they got that going for them. But they had to cancel this convention because apparently a large portion of the furries has been usurped by the alt-fur.
That's a shame. But it was only a matter of time.
Only a matter of time.
You catch people in fur, it's just a matter of time before that kind of behavior shows its head.
Exactly. So I feel like when I saw that, I knew the bar had somehow been lowered. As far as, I might go further. Like I said, these bar lowering updates might just keep coming, for all I know. But we had to get that out there on the waves before we started the show today.
I just wonder if there ever will be a bottom, or if it just can continuously go down farther and farther.
Something tells me there's possibilities for a lowering. Oh,
it's a shame that we're on a delay here. Let me see if I can.
Yeah.
Show this off. Alt fur.
There you go.
Yep.
There's even one somewhere of him doing a Nazi salute, believe it or not.
That's a Nazi armband there.
Yeah.
Kinda.
With a wolf paw on it.
Yeah. I'm sure it's different.
Yeah, it's whatever, right?
It's fine.
But, so that's what we want to start the show with today. Because we've talked about furries before. If the shit wasn't weird, it got weirder.
I knew it.
Oh, my God.
This explains it all.
Yeah.
Right here. This picture. Trump supporters.
Furries.
Bastards.
Furry Trump supporters.
Filthy.
Yeah. Apparently, I don't really want to. Okay, so, and before we got started on the topics, there was one other thing in particular I wanted to say. And that was fuck Antifa. Fuck them right in their fucking socialist buttholes. I mean, some of you out there might think, why fuck Antifa? They're the anti-fascist league. You should be all about anti-fascism.
Right.
Well, I am. The only difference is I'm really against fascism, and I'm not a socialist.
Yeah, they're using that George Orwell doublespeak.
Yeah. I mean, like, to me, Antifa, like, I did some research on them, because I wanted to see what it was really all about. And when Antifa started, they had good purpose to exist. There were still elements of fascism in the world that needed to be stomped out. But, like the March of Dimes, their reason to exist is null and void now.
Not important anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Right.
Fascism on a large scale, at least in the Western world, doesn't exist anymore. So Antifa, if you really want to fight fascism, you need to take your ass about 1,000 miles east to, a country like North Korea or something like that.
Yeah. Enjoy your citizenship in a much better country than this one.
Yeah, so fuck Antifa.
Eat a dick.
They're completely they use brown shirt Nazi tactics to try to bully people into believing what they believe.
Yeah.
Like, for real. If you're going to fucking protest simply to sow chaos and to make fights and all sorts of stuff happen, then you're a fucking fascist yourself. That's all there is to it. You're a brown shirt. That's what brown shirts did to get power. All they did was go around and fucking bully people.
Right.
And that's what you're doing. And you finally got a taste of your own fucking medicine at this fucking Berkeley rally. Now, that's not to say I'm with a lot of the people that were at the Berkeley rally on the other side, but I'm glad you cocksuckers are getting a taste of your own fucking medicine.
Well, I just can't believe that it's continuing to go on.
Yeah. Well, there's calls to make Antifa a terrorist organization, which I'm surprised because well, in this administration, I wouldn't be surprised if that actually happened. Before, in the last administration, no fucking way.
Did you see the GoFundMe that was going on with that?
Yeah, she was trying to make $80,000 off getting cocked in the face one time.
Right. He had one too, but GoFundMe took it down.
Yeah.
But they let hers ride still. He wanted, they were trying to raise like $50,000 for an ice pack for his hand.
Yeah. And I've seen they've tried to paint the guy who did it as a neo-Nazi and all that.
Racist!
Just because, this woman moments ago was punching people and chucking bottles into the crowd, but that's whatever. Man or woman, if you're chucking a bottle at me, you're going to get cold cocked.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
You come up there talking about wanting Nazi scalps, wearing a face mask with dreadlocks.
What do you got to hide?
You're choking somebody. You're asking to get punched in the forehead.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened.
I mean, I said it on Facebook. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Exactly.
She won.
She won her prizes.
That was a great prize.
But, so that's why I wanted to get out of the air real quick before we started getting up on the topics.
Yes.
But if you have anything else before we start.
No, not really. Just this gift that keeps on giving in the news, like the herpes virus that it is. It's North Korea. We're just waiting for somebody to fucking do something. Yeah,
I feel like they're not going to do anything. They will rattle their sabers and beat their chests and their war drums as much as they want, but I don't think they're going to do anything. Like, that parade showed us everything we knew. Because, like, a couple of, expert analysis have looked at that parade, and some of those missiles, they're pretty sure are fake. Like, they look like they're made of wood.
Sure.
And then, two, their so-called... Did you see the pictures of their special forces? The ones that were wearing, night vision goggles and fucking...
No, I saw a thing on Facebook last night, but I thought it was clickbait, so I didn't click it.
Well, I saw one last night, too, and I clicked on it anyways, and it was a military expert, and he was doing the rundown on the so-called, the paramilitary forces that they were parading with the face paint and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And he was running down, all the things, the mainstream media had gotten wrong, because they were carrying these AK-74s with what looked like a grenade launcher on them. But he's like, that's not a grenade launcher. He's like, that's a weird North Korean magazine. And he's like, that's tied to the stock of the gun by paracord, if you'll notice. He also said that the goggles they used were antiques from the Soviet era that caused peripheral problems. And he just, went down this laundry list of things that was completely fucked up with their uniforms. Basically, they were fake, more or less. Just about as fake as the missiles that they were parading.
Do you see the video where their special forces were doing, brick breaking and all that shit?
Yeah.
Was that the same video?
I think so, yeah. But yeah, so, I mean, I don't think they're... If anything, if one side's going to end up doing something harmful, it's probably going to be us just getting gun shy.
I'm surprised that with that missile, I'm pretty sure the one that exploded off the ground was either just a testament to the fact that everything they have sucks.
Or it was us.
But I'm surprised with how hard we are for them that we didn't use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
I mean, the Gulf of Tonkin was fake, and that started Vietnam.
True.
So this could have easily started the new Korean War.
I wouldn't be surprised. But, alright, well... I'd say let's dive deep into these topics today.
Oh, it's deep.
So, first topic comes from a second-time contributor, I think.
Ooh.
Red, White, and Justin.
Yes. Freedom.
And he asked, how much has America's balls dropped by sending those Tomahawks to the Syrian airbase?
Smack the floor.
Oh, yeah. That's what I said. This is. I'll tell you word for word exactly what I wrote. America's balls hit the floor and sprayed its missiles all over Syria. And now she won't stop calling us because she thinks she is pregnant and she is not willing to take care of it, as the U.S. says. And North Korea won't stop calling either because we got her knocked up in the 50s. But apparently sovereign state years are like reverse dog years and the bitch is starting to go nuclear if we don't pay child support.
Nuclear.
To put it bluntly, yes, sending missiles probably did make our balls drop, but we're going to pay for that shit.
Oh, for sure.
We're going to fucking pay for it.
Whose side do you think China's truly on this?
I think they're just waiting. I see, like, they've already said, like, they kind of said already, well, a war between the U.S., they were cryptic about it. They're like, a war between the U.S. and North Korea, nobody wins.
No.
Which that's some, like, Confucianism right there. Like, war never has a victor or anything like that. Like,
yeah.
But, I mean, as every other expert in the world already said, they're done. Like, if North Korea starts a war with the U.S., North Korea is going to fucking get it bad.
I just don't know what they can do to us. I mean, I can see that where they might fuck up our allies, unless they've got one of their, like, shitty 1980s submarines that's been sitting underneath, like, the San Francisco Bay for the last 30 years.
Dudes are old.
Just waiting to hit
semen-covered submarine walls.
Right.
Ready to go, eating fucking dried food for years.
Yeah.
I could see it. But I think China would end up sitting on the fence anyways until things got really bad. And then they'd be like, let's do something.
Same with Russia. They just have some sort of backwards plan to hit us right after we're at our weakest point.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so thank you for the question, Justin. I hope our answer sufficed. It's kind of I feel like it's a win-lose situation for us.
Yeah.
We win, but we're going to lose too. And a hollow victory at that.
Well, in the positive stream, you can still download Duolingo and learn how to speak Russian or Chinese.
Yeah.
So when our overlords come here, we'll already be speaking the language.
Yeah. I think in the end of the day, what they do is, I don't even know if they would, like, invade us. They would get somebody else, too, that we'd be more comfortable with being our overlords.
Yeah.
That's why I learned German. Because I think German is, at the end of the day, even though they're NATO and all that, I think they're still kind of middle-of-the-road neutral. Mm-hmm. And I think, as a whole, we'd probably be more comfortable with Germans telling us what to do than Russians.
Yeah.
I think the Germans would at least have a softer hand in it.
Well, they've learned. I mean, they've already ran that kind of program before.
Yeah. Program.
Yes.
But thanks for the question, Justin. Next question comes from Our Lady, St. Catherine of College Corner. Ooh.
See if it'll show up in the light.
Oh, yeah.
St. Catherine
of College Corner.
Candle is burning.
Yep. What do you feel is the most important classic fiction and non-fiction you've read? Classic being before 1980. Now, this is a double-ended question. She said, what is the most important modern fiction and non-fiction book you've ever read? And that's after 1980. Now, you want me to go first?
No.
Okay, you go first.
No, you go first.
Okay. Before 1980, in all seriousness, when I was thinking of non-fiction I've read that impacted me the most, I mean, this isn't even a joke, this is The Diary of Anne Frank. I think if you want a perfect example of how people can just be living their lives and then the government decides to fuck them and they're forced to live like rats in the attic for years and then ultimately get caught and then killed.
Yeah.
I mean it impacted me because like that little girl was an innocent in all this. And it's hard to see a child have to endure something like that. I know, I just got really dark there for a minute, but I couldn't think of something that a nonfiction book from the past that really like impacted me like that. I could say I was talking to her the other day, and I said, well, I do like The 7 Pillars of Wisdom by T.E. Lawrence, but it's hard to say how much of that is fact and how much of that is fiction.
Right.
And then the fiction book would be a tie, and they're both Orwell books. They're not necessarily. Here's the thing: when I say like most important, I don't mean my favorite. I mean books that I feel like are in fact important.
Yeah.
And that's tie between 1984 and Animal Farm. Because, I mean, they're both pretty much about the same thing. About a guy who loved a political ideology and then over the course of his life had to watch men ruin that ideology.
Right.
Like both those books in reality are love letters to a lost love that I think Orwell kind of lost his faith in humanity when he watched all forms of socialism just go to shit. Mm-hmm. And both of those books are examples of that. But
those are both good books.
Oh, amazing. I think I love 1984, but I lean towards Animal Farm. I think because it's the simplicity of Russian political gain.
The ending of 1984 ruined me for it.
Yeah.
The entire book. Just ruined it all. Dragged it right through a pile of shit.
Yeah. What, you mean like the notion that it was never about him rebelling?
Yeah, that the rebellion was fake.
The rebellion
was trying to prove his love.
Yeah, for Big Brother. Like, he was like being a rebellious child.
Right.
He always loved his father, right? And I think that's part of Orwell's thing is like... And I think Orwell is almost the reader in that aspect too, because that ending had to have broken his heart because he would want somebody that was like a revolutionary and ready for change and all that shit.
Right.
And then for modern nonfiction, I had to get to my dude, Grandpa Ron Paul. with his book And the Fed. That book was my political awakening, most definitely. Like,
shook you awake with tender hands of
yeah.
Grandpa Ron.
It's his. It's basically a collection of his speeches from like. I mean, I guess it's technically because some of the speeches were done before 1980. But this whole series wasn't collected until after 1980, so I count it. But it's a series of speeches he's done. And I feel like Ron Paul is probably the most consistent politician I've ever known.
Oh, yeah.
He's felt the exact same way about politics from like early on in his career all the way through up to now. He's never changed his mind about anything.
Well, you don't just get the name Dr. No overnight.
Yeah.
Just saying no over and over again to nonsense.
Exactly.
Which I'm not mad at him for it.
So if you want... I mean, I feel like And the Fed is what made me a libertarian.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd have to agree with that.
In the grand scheme of things, I would put Ron Paul, when it comes to being a man of letters, up there with Thomas Paine.
Modern day Thomas Paine.
Yeah, and his ability to convey the notions of what freedom really means.
Freedom.
But, and then, modern fiction was hard because, I've read a lot of stuff, classic stuff, but in the modern day, I put it up to a tie again. I put the Dark Tower series or Harry Potter.
Yeah, I'm just say Dark Tower. It's like my heroin. If I'm left it alone in a room with it long enough, I'm going to heat it up on a spoon.
Now, I put Harry Potter because, see, I'm still in the middle of the Dark Tower series, so I haven't been able to create a whole formulative notion about how I feel about the whole thing. But I have read Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I like the message of Harry Potter, but I feel like Dark Tower has a different message going on than Harry Potter. Harry Potter's about, the power of love and friendship will conquer evil. I don't know where the Dark Tower's going.
Yeah.
They have the quartet, but I wouldn't know if I go as far as calling them friends. I feel like Roland's true friends already died. Elaine and Cuthbert and, can't remember the third one's name.
Shit, I can't either.
Yeah. Elaine, Cuthbert, and whatever the third guy's name is.
The guy that was not important enough for us to remember?
Yeah. Like I said, the jury's still out on the Dark Tower, but as far as I've read so far, my brain is starting to sum up the notion that this is the best piece of a fantasy series ever made. So it would be bad of me not to include it in a list of best fiction books from the modern era.
That's a funny one to date, too, because it's such a long time that he wrote that whole series.
Exactly. Because I can't include Game of Thrones in the shit. He's not finished yet, and he's just frustrated the fuck out of me with it.
He'll be dead before he finishes it, I'm sure.
So I hope you... you still gotta give your answers.
Yeah, mine was a little off. See, the most important classic fiction that I've read, I can't really date it prior to 1980. I mean, Lord of the Rings was baller.
That's before 1980.
I think my favorite, and this will go for both categories, favorite fiction book that was most important to my life was The Alchemist.
That is a good book.
By Paulo Coelho. That's an awesome book. Mm-hmm. Quick read. I'm going to shove it down my son's throat as soon as he's old enough to digest words.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Most important nonfiction book was published in 1890 by Russell Conwell called Acres of Diamonds. And that's a pretty badass commencement speech written down about power of perspective.
Yeah.
You can find it for free on Google. Look it up.
I'll have to look that up. I've never read it.
Basically talks about like a series of stories. Like a guy, forget where, but he had this plot of property, and he was, just sick of it. He wanted to find his way out in the world.
Yeah.
And you have to forgive the new father brain is.
It's still rewiring things.
Fucking with thoughts, yeah.
Yeah.
He had a bit of his land where the sludge was going through it, and he had cattle in that area. Mm-hmm. So he put like a board over where the sludge was streaming into the water. Ended up selling his property because he was just like, I can't get this sludge to clear up, and it's gonna fuck with my cattle. The guy he sold it to found out that it was crude oil.
Oh shit!
And fortunes were made. One of the other stories, I think the one key to Acres of Diamonds was a guy looking for diamonds, and he wanted to become a diamond miner and all this stuff. Well, he basically had all the diamonds that he could ever need under his feet. And the idea is that you don't have to go out in the world somewhere to find your bliss. It's right underneath your feet.
Nice.
Hashtag perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so thank you, Catherine, for that question. That was a good question.
Yes.
Next question comes to us from Lunchmeat. He's contributed before. He's a good contributor. Thank you, Lunchmeat. He asked, your great-great-grandpa gets to spend the entire day with you. What things do you do? Do you tell him and show him in the 24 hours you have together?
You just show him the amount of waste that we have.
As I say, I mean, I said I'd show him the wonders of internet pornography.
Yeah.
And then give him some time alone.
Show him Top Girl.
Yeah. This is what we're into now, Great Grandpa.
Oh my God.
Great Grandpa. This is what we do. This is the future. Are you happy?
Heavy with it.
But then I said, because I thought about how old my great grandpa, what era he came from, and that would have to be like, he had to have probably died in the 30s.
Yeah.
Maybe even earlier, maybe in the 20s. So I said, we'd eat some pizza. He's probably never had pizza before.
They came over, around the Second World War? Or First World War?
It started to come up in the Second World War. It started to become mainstream after World War II, when soldiers were coming back from Italy like, man, this shit fucking good.
Yeah.
Then I said, watch a movie, and I said either Escape from New York or the first 2 Star Wars movies.
Moving pictures.
I feel like I wouldn't want to spend the whole day watching movies, so I figured I'd show him the beginning and then the best Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Like, well, this one was good. This one's the best. We don't have to watch the rest. But I want to know how it ends. No, you don't.
Nope.
No, you don't.
Not important.
And then I said, introduce him to my son.
Look at your future progeny.
Yeah, this is the future.
Yes.
Yeah, so, we'd have a nice day. Maybe go to the park. I mean, but he had parks back then. What are we going to do?
Right.
Like I said, watch movies, eat pizza, internet porn. That's like all the best about where we live now. So, we weren't going to show him a cell phone? Fuck cell phones. They're terrible. They're inventions from the devil.
I think I'd like to sit down with an old bottle of rye whiskey. Mm-hmm. Maybe have a few sips. Then go to the mall. Yeah. Just let him watch Society for a while. Yeah. Let him drink it in.
Probably end up throwing up.
Yeah, that and take him to a Chinese buffet.
Ooh, man, I should have thought of that.
Maybe let him have some of that cess.
You know what's weird is like even my grandma wasn't big on Chinese food though.
Yeah.
She didn't like Mexican food for that matter.
Do you think your great-grandpa would have like a distrust of Asians? What was the mindset of Asians back then?
No, I feel like back then they weren't considered a threat or anything. They were more like a novelty in his era. So we've been like, oh my God, it's a Chinaman.
Yeah.
But
Oriental.
It's an Oriental.
Yeah.
But yeah,
take one bite of that MSG laden shit that we've been eating our entire lives and fucking throw up.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't handle the poison.
What is this garbage? I just want some biscuits.
Yeah, give me biscuits.
But yeah, I mean, those are the things I'd do with him. I mean, I don't know anything else I'd want to do. I'm not gonna take him to a theme park or nothing.
No.
I don't know how old he is. Like, if anything, if in another hypothetical, I would like to use a time machine to go back and meet my grandfather before he was like a parent or all those things, and just hang out with him.
See what he was all about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what he was all about back then. Before family and fatherhood had changed him.
Here's an interesting thing to think about. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but if you think back to like your grandpa, great-grandpa, even your dad, you don't really have a whole lot to go back on as far as like what he was like.
Yeah. And
think about our grandkids and our great-grandkids. Just with the level of like the YouTube channel and the podcast.
Oh, they're going to know all about us.
Everything.
Which is kind of weird. Like, I thought about this in my head, like what I was going to do concerning my son and the podcast. Yeah. And that was going to be, he's not allowed to listen to it until either A, he's an adult, or I might take it one step further and say B, when I'm dead.
I don't think he'll be able to stop it.
Yeah, good point.
Once he's an adult, probably even before then, he'll have full access to.
He might go ahead and listen to it. It's whatever. And by then, hopefully, I'm still doing the podcast. So then it's just 2 old fuckers sitting talking about the good old days and shit.
This is gonna be some old shit where they look back and they're like, "Man, these guys are lame."
Yeah, what the fuck's wrong with these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, thanks Lunch Meat for the question. We like that one.
That was good. Next
one comes from, and I saw he has a Facebook page now, so I feel like, in a way, we have influenced.
I told him to on there. I said, there's no time like the present. The future and the present need Aaron the Red as a thing.
Exactly.
Thank you, Aaron the Red.
I feel like he's kind of in the same vein as Rudy Puma.
Yes.
Rudy Puma sent us a couple things this week, but they're not really like show material. They were just funny shit to show us.
Good for the lulz.
Yeah, it was good for the lulz. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Just like, things you happen upon. He sent us, Rudy Puma sent us a picture of a note left in a park logbook.
As he was there for a Craigslist mail-for-mail hookup.
Yeah. That was just... It was just really weird, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, but anyway, sorry, we kind of went off the path, but I love the fact that Aaron the Red has his own Facebook now.
Yes. It
makes me happy. I feel like things are only going to become more interesting and unfiltered from him from here on out.
That's so good.
But thanks to Aaron. But But he asked, World War III, good or bad? Are we overdue for another world-ending war? Well, I mean, I put it pretty bluntly when I answered this question. I said, for common folk, it's bad.
Yeah.
For bankers in the military-industrial complex, it's good.
Yeah.
And yes, a fleecing and culling of the common folk seems to be about in order at this point.
I think the best thing that could happen for the common folk is a purge.
Yeah.
But I don't know about World War.
But see, the problem with the purges, if you notice from the movies, is that rich people, it's really just a way for rich people to make poor people kill each other.
But if you noticed, the lowest common denominator was a lot smaller in the purge universe.
Yeah.
Here you're tripping over heroin needles in a fucking Walmart parking lot.
Yeah.
And you run the risk, if you're in fucking Cleveland, Ohio, and you're a retiree and you're walking down the road collecting cans,
man,
you run the risk of getting shot in the face.
That shit, yeah, I mean...
You know what I mean?
I don't even know what to say. Like, we were talking about that before the show started, and that shit pissed me off so fucking bad.
I hope they catch that dude.
I hope they catch him alive. I really do.
On HD footage and just beat the dog shit out of him.
Yeah.
I asked a couple people on the Facebook page, the Messenger, folks that we, hang out with about 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how long do you think it'll be after they catch this guy and beat the fuck out of him or shoot him, how long will it be before there's a Black Lives Matter protest in Cleveland for that asshole who shot a black dude?
Yeah. An old retired black man.
Right.
Who did nothing to nobody. He was just walking, probably I assume from home or somewhere else, and dude got out of his car and fucking shot him in cold blood.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
I hope they fucking kill that dude, though.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I hope he gets caught alive, because I think what he's going to get in prison is going to be worse than what he can get, with the mercy he can get from police officers.
I almost wonder, and I have no experience in the prison system, but I almost wonder if that old school prison justice is dead now.
I don't think it is, because I'm going to go ahead and assume that, considering he was in Cleveland, that somebody knows somebody knows somebody knew that old man. And
somebody's grandpa.
Yeah, somebody's grandpa. That shit just tears me up, man. That's fucked.
Did you watch the videos of him talking about, like, his reasoning behind all this?
I couldn't watch him.
You should.
It's just, his bullshit was too much for me.
He even sounded calm as he sat there and was like, this is pretty much this Joy Lane girl's problem, and, she just pushed me to my pushing point. And, that's why I'm going to just start killing people. I think he said something along the lines of, I'm going to keep killing people until they catch me. I'm going to start shooting Greeks.
What the fuck?
Now, I have to rewatch it, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
Greeks.
So I'm assuming he meant he's just going to start popping white folks? Is that what that is?
I don't know, but we're not all Greek.
Again, that could be Bones' misinterpretation, but I'm pretty sure that's what I heard it come out of his stupid mouth.
But back to the question.
Yeah, sorry I trailed off there.
We kind of diverted here.
Bones gets angry.
Yeah, World War III, I think, would just be bad on all levels.
Yeah, you can't hide from the atom.
Yeah, you can't hide from the atom. It's going to be everywhere.
That's one thing in Fallout I'm pretty sure is not true. Like, you're going to have crazy Antifa furries everywhere.
Yeah.
But you're not going to have the cult of the atom.
No.
You can't.
No.
You can't just...
There's not going to be some people that are just immune to radiation. Everybody's susceptible to the power of radiation.
Yeah.
But, no, I think it'd just be bad, man. All of it would be bad. War is bad in general. Like...
Well, you answered it correctly. The only people that ever profit from war are the ones that aren't affected by it.
Yeah, it's only good for those people. Yeah, it's only good for those people that are going to make money off of it. Like the rest of us, we're the ones that have to go out and fight the goddamn thing.
Yeah. And
we're going to get fucked. Because then after the war's over, they're going to raise our fucking taxes to fucking fund their bullshit.
For sure.
No, we are, I think at this point, I feel like we are overdue. In this modern era, I mean, we had 2 world wars less than, 30 years apart?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been 70 some odd years since our last one.
Yep.
So
definitely overdue.
Yeah. Plus when you got douchebags like little fat girl fucking Kim Jong-un.
Fat girl.
Rattling his fucking empty saber.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking...
Plastic saber.
It's just a saber with a hilt on it. That's all it is. Maybe with a bit of wood in there to keep the handle in check.
What a fucking turd.
Yeah. Or you got douchebags like fucking Assad fucking doing shit, or fucking Putin doing shit, or fucking President Z doing absolutely fucking nothing. And fucking... They're basically... I feel like this whole thing is a giant bear baiting. And we're the bear.
Yeah.
They're trying to coax us into aggression.
Population control.
Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, no matter who was president, I feel like this is where we'd still be at this place.
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter.
No, it would just be from different angles.
Yeah, if Hillary Clinton was president right now, we'd be in the exact same place we are.
We already would have invaded Syria. We would also be taking in mass refugees, and the homeland terrorism would be off the charts.
Yeah, but that's here nor there. I think they're wanting to get rid of some folk, especially with the modernization of our factories and all that stuff, to basically be using robots for everything.
Yeah.
They don't need as many of us around anymore. I mean, they've tried to do it. They've tried to coax us into culling ourselves, but I don't think it's working to the degree they want it to work.
Heroin's working pretty good.
Heroin is working pretty good. I think, imagine some, insidious board meeting where they're all, imagine they all kind of look like David Rockefeller. Mm-hmm. In fact, they all are just David Rockefeller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clones.
He's not dead.
No.
And they're all just sitting around a table, hunched over, yes, the numbers are coming back from the heroin supply, and it seems like we are calling at a proper 1.3% to the heroin. And someone else is like, that's not enough. We need to add 2.3 more milligrams of fentanyl to the heroin doses to ensure that they're overdosing at a higher rate.
Yes.
But won't they stop doing the heroin? No, they're fucking stupid. They're gonna keep doing the fucking heroin.
I'm going to share this, since we're talking about rich families in their string pulling. Everybody should Google Raymond and Beverly Sackler. They're the newest on the, this is an older story. In 2015, they were the richest newcomer on the Forbes 2015 list at a stunning $14 billion. The Sackler family controls the flow of Oxycotin. And if you think back, historically, oxys were what got everybody on heroin in the first place.
So, now what we're going to do... I'm sorry, I'm going to keep doing this voice because I like it.
Look at that face. Tell me he doesn't talk that way.
Oh, yeah. No. Now, he's more like this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut off the Oxycontin supply, so they're forced to take heroin in order to get their fix.
Yeah.
But we're going to keep adding more fentanyl to it so they die while they do it.
Good.
But yeah, I mean, I just read fucking 2 days ago that there was a girl from our class who died 2 years ago from heroin overdose, right? Her brother just fucking died from a heroin overdose. God fucking damn it, dude.
The family was wanting to GoFundMe to cover the funeral expenses.
Because there's nobody left to pay for the motherfucker.
Right.
Everyone's dead.
Put him in a fucking cremation tree and let him grow in a forest.
This is like some goddamn... This is like a plague. Right. Literally. We're living in a plague. They're going to start going around with a fucking body cart here soon.
Well, those Georgia Guidestones aren't going to fulfill themselves.
Yeah. We have to add another cube to the Georgia Guidestones this week, because I feel like we've hit a milestone in our progress.
Very good. Speaking in the vein of, population control, our senior correspondent out in the field, of course, Red, White, and Justin, sent us a news update. Apparently, the USS Ronald Reagan and Nimitz carrier groups are both en route to the Korean Peninsula, joining up with the Vincent and Japanese Navy. And also, Trump yesterday said that F-22s are there to maintain air-to-air superiority.
Norsh.
Yes.
Yes.
Everything's going as planned.
Everything is going exactly as we wanted.
Delicious.
Trump will send in the troops, and then they shall call them. They shall win, but it will cost the people lots of money that they don't have.
I don't know if you watched the Korean parade.
Oh, I watched a good portion of it.
Do you think that fat fuck was underground?
You think it was a body double?
I wonder if they were recording him you know how they have that...
Oh, you mean they kept going to him, but it wasn't really it was an old recording.
He was in a cave or something?
Yeah, it was like an old-ass recording.
Is he really going to be in Pyongyang where they could just drop a Scud missile?
I was going to say, that whole parade would have been the ideal place, and I hate, this sounds like saber-rattling, but this is just a hypothetical. It would have been the perfect time to drop another Moab.
Yeah. Right on there.
Yeah, because, they had their supposed special forces, they had all their shitload of missiles, and their fucking stupid gay-ass leader, all in the same place.
With his fat haircut.
And I did see something funny the other day. They said apparently the North Korean military is fond of the movie Office Space because their generals are just belittered with flair. They have so much flair on their coats. And if you notice, they literally got medals on both sides running down their shit. There has been... I'm going to clap back. There has been no fucking wars. That's supposed to be in there.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
Yeah.
But there have been no fucking wars in North Korea for what? 70 fucking years?
Yeah.
So what are they getting these medals for, bitch?
Going to the sun.
Yeah.
Google North Korea sends man to sun. I mean, they're on some next level shit.
The guy's I got this medal because I was a leader of a forced work camp and I didn't have anybody die for a week.
Good job.
Yeah.
Jean Powell. Good job.
But no, Aaron the Red. I think it's bad for us common folk. Anybody below the 1%, it's bad. The 1%, they'll make money. Yeah. And, then they don't have to worry. They just get robots to be their maids and shit.
Right.
Because we're all fucking dead.
Sexy androids.
But yeah, thanks, Aaron. And we love the Facebook page, by the way. It's glorious.
Premium.
But next question comes from St. Catherine of College Corner again. And she asked us, what's the most twisted classic fairy tale? I think this kind of went with her first question she asked, but I kind of split them up so we can... I like to evenly disperse the St. Catherine questions.
Yeah, I get it.
But because she's just the most amazing contributor. She sends us shit all the time. We love it.
If we were North Korea, she would be decorated with medals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She would. I might actually go ahead and just Photoshop a picture of her on front of one of those generals.
Yeah. Fantastic.
But, yeah. I had an easy one. Little Mermaid by Hans Christian Andersen.
Okay.
That one is fucked up. Like, okay, the original story isn't like the Disney one at all. Like, okay, so she sees this prince, right? And she saves him, I think. Yeah, she saves him. And she falls in love with him, but she's a mermaid, so she can't, be with him.
Of course.
So she goes to the sea witch, and the sea witch says, well, if you're going to be with him, you have to do it within a certain amount of time. You have to make him fall in love with you. And I'm going to give you legs, but walking is going to feel like walking on broken glass for you. And it's going to be extremely painful. And so she's like, fuck it, I'll do it. I love him.
Yeah.
So she gives her legs, and it's excruciatingly painful to walk. She tries to make him fall in love with her, and he doesn't. He ends up falling in love with somebody else.
Of course.
And she turns into sea foam and laments the fact that her love was lost. And she had endured so much pain to go through it. It's a fucked up classic fairy tale to me. But there's plenty of others. So you peruse through the back catalog of Grimm's fairy tales, and you'll find some shit.
I'm going to go with the one that fucked with me the most, and it's might not be up on that list, but it's the Pied Piper.
Oh, the Pied Piper?
That one. Oh my god.
Spider alert!
Yeah.
Get it! Kill it with fire!
Just the idea that when adults decide not to pay their debts, the children are the ones that pay the price.
Yeah.
That one was kind of affected me at a young age.
I think it was called, the full title is The Pied Piper of Hamelin.
Yes.
Yeah. That is a fucked up story. The fact that he could control children and rats. What are they trying to say?
Right.
Children are just like rats?
Rats are children.
I mean, they do sneak food, and they are kind of grubby. I mean, this is coming from being a parent. Just saying. I mean, that sounds mean. But no, they are kind of grubby. And they do sneak food, and they like to scurry about when you're around.
Or not around.
While they're doing things that they know they're not supposed to do. So yeah, I do think children are a bit like rats.
Do you think that's going on right now?
Probably. My son's probably in there right now. I'd put in a TV show and put Legos on the floor and was like, stay in the living room. And I went and checked him a few minutes ago, and I don't see him anywhere.
Yeah. Somehow,
for some reason, he's in the fucking dining room.
And when he was questioned about it, he just laughed.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say, yeah, he said the Pied Piper of Hamelin. I say the Little Mermaid. Because they're both like, especially like for me, the Little Mermaid, because the story, and the Disney story is so much more tender and more like easy to absorb.
Yeah.
Than the story about a girl who has to like suffer enduring pain for someone that she loves but doesn't love her back.
Walk on a field of glass to only be disappointed in the end.
Yeah. And not just walk on glass, but it's like glass legs. Yeah. Like you feel it all the way up into your like all the parts that you're not supposed to have.
Yeah. That's fucked.
But it's still a sad, I mean, it's a good story. I mean, I liked it. I mean, I like Hans Christian Andersen. I think he, for the most part, a lot of his stories aren't as depressing as that one is, but they have better endings to them. But yeah, Little Mermaid is the most twisted one in my opinion. That or like, you can't quote me on this, but I think in Cinderella, the original story, the ugly stepsisters cut off like the tips of their feet to try to make those shoes fit.
Dang.
Yeah.
Cold
as fucking ice. But thanks, St. Catherine, for the question. We love Our Lady of College Corner so much.
The light flickers with enjoyment.
Yeah, the light flickers, and we know somewhere you are placing your blessing upon us. I want to commission artwork of me and Bones, like kneeling, like with knights with like armor on.
Yeah.
And like we have like, coat of arms and all that shit, and we're sitting there kneeling. And St. Catherine is there, and it's like, a perfect effigy of a saint. She's like holding her arms out, and there's like a glowing, ethereal fucking magical light around her, and she's like placing her hand, and then she places her hands on our foreheads and blesses us.
Before we go to war.
Before we go to war in our podcasting efforts.
Yes.
But no, thank you for that question. Next one comes from Aaron Stearns. Aaron's contributed before. He's cool as fuck. We know him from the Factory of Sadness.
Factory of Sadness.
But, and I almost forgot this question on the show because he had sent it in an email, and I'm just not used to getting emails for the show yet. Usually it's on Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But luckily I remembered he had it on there. I think part of it has to do with the fact that it involves RoboCop, and I am, if I'm anything, if Dr. Doug Hurdy is the leading authority on opossum research, I am the leading authority on RoboCop research.
Of course.
This involves a recent event, too, actually. We've had a few that are kind of laced with recent events. We've had 3, actually. But he asks, what do you think about the incident involving United Airlines? If you're not hip, United Airlines overbooked a flight. They went in there and said, hey, we need somebody to get off. We overbooked. We don't have room for our staff.
Fuck you.
So nobody volunteered. So they picked this Asian dude and said, get off the flight. And he's like, you're going to have to make me. And they did. They got the cops involved and they dragged him off the plane and beat the shit out of him.
Right.
Just to get you updated. I'm sure you'd have to be living under a rock not to hear about this. So he said, seems to be an alarming example of law enforcement being enforcers of corporate interests and not protecting the people, a la RoboCop. That's definitely that.
Yeah, he's just not merged with a machine yet.
Yeah. That's what I said. I said, the only thing this is missing is RoboCop. Because the police, their biggest, the thing they protect the most is corporations first, not people. It's that simple.
You used to see a lot more of this, I think, too, glaring details of like the corporate takeover of law enforcement during the Bush administration. Mm-hmm. Like when We Are Change was first founded. Yeah. And they would go to the protest lines at like the G20 or any other number of protests where riot cops were called in. They were using LRADs on the people. And this was before, I think that the protest movement was co-opted by the same shadowy people that are paying the cops to protect the corporations. Because you look now and it's just violent agent provocateurs everywhere.
Yeah.
But like back in the conception days of We Are Change, they would walk up to the line of police where they're standing there with no identification. You can't tell if they're cops, paramilitary, or who they are. And all that We Are Change would do is hand them a flower, or they would hold up a mirror to let them see what they look like. Yeah. That's pretty powerful shit.
Exactly.
But now you're going up there smacking them with dildos, and you're asking for it.
Yeah.
You don't taunt the guard dog.
Well, apparently, like, not to get off subject for a second, but when we're talking about, like, how both sides are being backed.
Full spectrum dominance.
Like, I saw a post from an Antifa member after the Berkeley War, the Battle of Berkeley, as it's being called. Yeah. And said that a lot of them had been arrested, but they got a bunch of them got bailed out by their backers.
Of course.
That's all they said was backers. Yeah. So who the fuck's their backers?
Soros.
Yeah. Well, I would wager that.
And affiliates.
Yeah, and affiliates. Nah, like I said, this situation is straight up RoboCop minus RoboCop. Right. And that's the difference, though. We need RoboCop because in the end, he took down these cocksuckers. He took them all down. He took down OCP. He took down the dirty cops.
So basically, you need a cop inside that's willing to stop the bullshit.
Yeah, we need a cop. And, you know, I was thinking, in this whole situation, like, if RoboCop were to exist, it wouldn't be in Detroit this time. I feel like Detroit has gone, it's past its prime as being the place where the most fucked up shit happens. I would wager if RoboCop was going to happen now, it would probably happen in Chicago.
Yeah, Chirac.
Yeah, some cop is going to get fucking blown away, and then they're going to give him robot parts. Yeah. And he's just going to kick ass and take down the man.
He doesn't have time to chew bubblegum. It's just an ass-kicking competition.
Because he more or less, like, and that's the same, like, it's kind of what we've talked about, like, it's not the drug dealers on the streets we're worried about. It's the people backing the drug dealers, right? And the people who are really, like, making the big money off all this. They're the ones you got to worry about. And in RoboCop, that's exactly what he does. At first, he's taking down street-level crime, but he realizes, you know, this is like cutting off the heads of a hydra. I need to cut it off much deeper at the roots. Yeah, and that whole situation with United Airlines was fucked. They took that dude off the flight, beat the fuck out of him.
You know, like, that dude was a pedophile.
See, and that's the thing. I see both sides of it. He was a shithead, but they didn't know that, did they?
No. They didn't come out until afterwards, and that could have been bullshit.
Yeah, that could have been you or me. You know what I mean? It could have just been, you know, Bones or Tubbs on a flight.
Somebody that didn't rape kids. It just happened to be somebody that
raped kids.
Or
Or that could be PR. That could be negative PR to try to dim it down.
Yeah, hypnosis.
Because it doesn't make it any better that it had the person they happened to just so pick to get the shit kicked out of them was a minority.
Right. Because I guarantee you, if I was trying to make a flight and I had to, and they tried to tell me to get off the plane, I would tell them to eat a dick.
Yeah. Oh, big time.
Suck a fat one.
If I had somewhere to be, yeah, fuck them. Now, if I had nowhere to be and they offer me something in return, I'd be like, whatever. But if I got somewhere to be, fuck them.
Using law enforcement, too, is a tricky double-edged sword because if he tried to fight back, which would have been justified, he would have been charged with felonious assault. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah. That whole situation is fucked. And you're right, Aaron Stearns. Cops are looking out for corporate interests first because they basically fund them.
Yes.
I mean, this is straight up OCP, RoboCop shit.
Yeah.
Right here. You know what I mean?
That's like you said, we need an actual RoboCop, a man to come forward and bite the hand that feeds him. Yeah. Say, fuck this. This is
big
wrong.
Time. And just blow them away.
Yeah. Shoot him in the dick.
Shoot him right in McCulk. Okay, so last question comes from a new contributor that we're going to call Jim of All Trades.
Jim of All Trades.
Jim of All Trades. And he asked us to check out Third Man Factor.
Yeah.
Which, when this was brought to me, I didn't know what Third Man Factor was.
I didn't either. It was a woke experience.
Yeah, I had to look it up. But it's the idea that during a traumatic time or hardship, that a person would feel an invisible presence of another during said hardship. Mm-hmm. Science chalks it up to a coping mechanism or bicameralism, which is where sometimes our brain will split itself to try to soothe part of us. But the first time it was mentioned really was in modern times. I feel like it's gone by many monikers. It just was called Third Man Factor in the modern age. But it's first mentioned in a book by Sir Ernest Shackleton. He brought it up while he was crossing a mountain range in Georgia, there was 3 people crossing, and he claims in the biography that he felt like there was a 4th person with them the whole time. That during traumatic times, people, and other people have mentioned it too, that when they're doing something hard or they're going through a bad time, they feel almost like a guiding hand pushing them in the right direction.
Right.
Psychologists actually, some use this as a means to treat trauma patients.
Yeah.
And people with PTSD. So the big question, I guess, to ask is, what is it exactly? Is it really something that our minds just create to help us cope with something bad? Or is it something beyond us?
Does the Third Man Factor explain the story I told before on the podcast where I was driving home at night? I felt the presence behind me before the traumatic experience happened.
Exactly. See?
So how would my brain cope with that, knowing that it happened beforehand?
That's a good
to anybody that's not heard the story, I was driving home from a friend's house on the back roads, and I felt and heard somebody sitting in the back seat behind me say, "Put your seatbelt on." And I literally heard it like a voice, and I felt somebody sitting behind me. I turned around, freaked out, turned the light on. There was nobody there. And about 10 minutes later, after I put my seatbelt on, I was flipping through a yard sideways.
You ever think maybe it's like, I don't know, stick with me on this, and this is what I tried to think of it as. What if, like, when we pass, like when we die, when our corporeal form, when we shed it, when we become, whatever we become, like we begin to live and understand in the nonlinear 4th dimension, right? Mm-hmm. So we could see our entire lives played out in front of us. So, like, I don't know how it would work. It's almost like follicular, like a snake eating itself. But then you realize that all those times when you went through hardship and you felt some unknown force push you forward and keep going, that it was actually you, after you passed, going back and making sure that you did all the things you needed to do.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, right? Kind of like Interstellar in a sense.
Yeah.
But not like Interstellar. Like, what if it was you, after you've gone, going back and telling yourself, put on your seatbelt?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like, what if, like, existence is us dying, but being able to rewrite our history?
Yeah, change things. Because maybe at that point in my life, on that timeline, I had ended up like Christopher.
Yeah, like Christopher Reeve or Stephen Hawking. Well, not really Stephen Hawking. He didn't get into the car crash.
Right.
But you would have to talk with a straw.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility.
It also plays into the Gnostic belief of the death trap.
Yeah.
You familiar with the death trap?
No.
It's something that's really been plaguing my mind lately. And the Gnostics have always kind of held my attention because if you read like biblical history and all this other history, one of the things that everybody loved to do in that time was to kill Gnostics and burn their libraries. Well, the Gnostics had figured out something they called the death trap, and that was that it's something that still proceeds to this day, where anybody of any faith that dies and anywhere in the world, they see the light, right? That transcends all faiths, all languages.
Yeah,
it's something that every human being experiences, and the Gnostic belief was that the light was a trick. And it was basically like the light was there to guide you into it, and you would see like loved ones, and they would be promising you like Valhalla or whatever. You come through the light. Well, all the light does is suck you into it, wipe the slate clean of memories, and throw you right back into the fucking game. And if you turn away from the light, you either come back in
or you get to keep yourself.
Or you keep yourself and you break free of the
chain.
The grid.
Maybe it's like some sort of circular cycle where you eventually have to learn that the light's no good.
Right.
The light draws you in like a moth to the flame.
Heavy.
Yeah. It's hard knowing, and I was thinking about it earlier this week. It's hard knowing how things really work. And sometimes it can be scary. Yeah. Like I had a moment earlier this week, I think a lot of people do, where the notion that there is nothing, that once we die, we fade away and all that what we were is gone. And I stared into that abyss for a little bit too long. Yeah. And almost fell into it. Yeah. But I managed to pull myself back and go like, whoa, no, I don't believe that way. You know what I mean? I feel like there is something much bigger than us going on that we haven't even begun to see yet.
Right.
Like death is only the beginning of a new journey.
Everything that we take for granted as normal is mind blowing if you take the time to look at it. Think about thought. Yeah. Just the fact that you're able to conjure up the image of a red barn. Or Dr. Doug Hurdy in a mankini.
I could see both of those things. I could see Dr. Doug Hurdy in a mankini next to a red barn. Yeah. Dancing with pigtails.
Trying to coax you inside the red barn.
Yeah. Kind of look like Jim Carrey back on In Living Color. Ooh. Yeah. I see that in my head now.
See, these things that we use for perverse means are magical at best. Yeah. The idea of writing down thoughts into word form, creating spelling, to basically impose telepathic communication on another being. Yeah. What the fuck are you talking about? The fact that we're alive right now, recording into an inanimate object. Yeah. Heavy shit. Can this all be nothing?
No. There's like I know we got serious there at the end, and I mean, here, I'll bring it back up. Imagine the third man while you're jacking it. Ooh. Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah, maybe sometimes you're a little sleepy. And
that's a little close to the children of God for me.
You don't know if you could finish, but then the third factor comes in and allows you to finish what you started.
Tickles your balls.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Just what I needed.
Okay. We brought this back up to where Bones and Tubbs levels of seriousness. We got serious for a minute there. Up to par. Like, imagine, like, while we were talking there for a minute, like, a galaxy spiral started to form behind us. Yeah. And suddenly we were dressed like Carl Sagan. Right. But yeah, thanks for this question, Jim of all trades. We really liked it.
We did.
Keep the topics up because we like stuff like that.
That's good.
Well, I think that about wraps it up for this week. Hey, real quick before we sign off, this is the last show where the audio quality is not up to par.
Next time it will be professional standard.
You're going to turn this shit on, and you're going to be blown away.
Yeah, eargasms.
Yeah, all around. Because we got a whole new rig system set up thanks to our contributors on Patreon.
It's in the mail right now.
Yeah, it's in the mail. I literally ordered it yesterday.
It's coming. Spell that how you want to.
C-U-M-I-N-G. Yeah.
Got him.
Just like that. But yeah, so prepare your ears for the next episode. Boom. And we'd like to thank all our contributors this week, our topicures, and we like to thank our bone tabures because they've been helping us a lot too, just by being listeners.
The show couldn't be what it is without the topicures, the listeners, the bone tabures, and definitely without the Patreon support. It could not exist.
Yeah, so thanks to all of you.
Keep it all up.
Like, I know we say this a lot on the show, but we really mean it from the bottom of our hearts. Like, we love doing this show, and even if we didn't have money or anything like that, we'd still do it. Right. But it shows appreciation. And when you send us topics or when you send us feedback, it shows appreciation, and we really, really, really enjoy it.
Really helps.
We'd like to thank Ryan Simpson for letting us use his music on, like, every show. And you're amazing for that, Ryan. I hope you listen to the show. I don't know if I'm sure he does at least a few.
I haven't talked to him. He's hard to get a hold of. I like to think that he's out there fighting in some sort of mystical realm when I'm not talking to him.
And some of you out there listening don't, for whatever reason, haven't really made it known to us that you like listening to the show, but I look at our numbers.
Yeah, the analytics on the podcast don't lie.
The analytics on the podcast don't lie. So there is some of you out there that listen, but you're not saying anything. So all I'm going to say to you is start contributing. We like new people. We like hearing feedback from you guys too.
Even just another thing that I was thinking of yesterday, if we had a small amount of the podcast subscribers that we have go over to our YouTube channel and become a subscriber on there, it would help us get our custom URL.
Yeah.
We are at 35 subscribers right now, which pales in comparison to the amount of people that are listening to us on the podcatchers.
Yeah, I know we're listening. I know we're on a lot of stuff. But here soon we're going to be doing a lot more videos that are going to be exclusively on YouTube.
We are in the process right now of picking out a camera, and there will be mucho videos.
Yes.
So help us out with that, and we will continue to impress you.
And check out the Patreon page. You know, when the audio is better next week, you're going to be like, wow, this is really good. You're going to wonder, how did they do this? Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon's what made us do it, okay?
We did it with Evelyn, Kate, and Jess.
So, and the thing is, it's not like we're taking this money and just pocketing it. No, we're taking this money to make the experience for you guys better, because that's what we want.
We're throwing it all back into the show.
Exactly, because, at this point, this is our dream.
Yes.
Our dream is to do the show, the videos, our blogs, and everything else that we do full-time.
Full-time.
Yeah. Check out our website, www.bonesandtubs.com. St. Even has a new LL comic every single week.
Got him.
Check it out. You know, he's about to drop this week's one. He showed me an early preview of it. You know, all the comics, even though they seem like their own little stories, they are completely all tied together.
It's all going to come together.
It's all going to come together. So check that out. Check out the website. We got our podcast on there. We've got a new blog on there by Bones. It's really, really good.
Don't be afraid of nuclear weapons. Fear the gay bomb.
Exactly.
Seasons don't fear the reaper.
Yeah. So check us out. Check out our website. Check out Facebook.com. Send us those topics. Send us messages. Let us know what you want to hear on the show.
And lube your fucking ears up. Yeah. It's about to get real.
It's about to get crazy.
Up in you.
Crazy sexy. You're going to make love to your earphones.
My nipples are hard right now.
Currently. So check us out on all those sites. We are officially now on iTunes, BeyondPod, Stitcher, and YouTube.
Yes.
So you can listen to the podcast on 4 different formats, via phone, via laptop, via tablet, whatever you want to do. It's everywhere now.
We also attempted to do a live feed, but I got feedback. 2 forms of feedback. One wanted us to show him our penises, which we couldn't do that because then we'd get thrown off the live stream.
Yeah.
But they said it was slow, so we're going to work on that too. And if we have to possibly worry about maybe using some of the show money for crazy internet, we'll do that.
We'll do that too.
Because there will be live streaming in the future.
Exactly. So, check us out. And thank you guys for listening this week. We hope you guys come back next week. And we'll see you guys then.
We love you.
We really do.